Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to share my Gilmore Girls Readathon TBR. So if you don't know what this is, the Gilmore Girls Readathon is hosted by Liv's Library, Pastel Pages, and Mackenzie Lane. And they created this readathon in honor of Gilmore Girls, and it just sounded so much fun, and I love the show, so I decided to participate. And I'll link all their pages down below, and this goes from October 1st to October 15th. It does consist of 7 challenges, a group book, and then a bonus challenge. And you are allowed to double up on books. So while I do have a book for each prompt or challenge, I will probably end up doubling up just depending on how my schedule in life goes. So you never know. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. Okay, the first prompt is a book with a school setting in honor of Yale and Chilton. Chilton being the private high school that Rory Gilmore attends. And for that, I chose to read Of Curses and Kisses by Sandhya Menon. This is the first book in her upcoming St. Rosetta's Academy series, and I'm part of the street team to promote this book, so I was so lucky to get an advanced reader copy to review so that I can get everybody excited about it. It follows Princess Jaya and a character Gray, and their families have been feuding for years, and they end up at the same elite boarding school. While there, Jaya comes to the realization that she needs to make Gray fall in love with her so that she can break his heart. In the process, Jaya might notice that Gray is very attractive and starts to develop feelings for him as well. On the flip side, Gray knows that he is doomed as soon as he turns 18. When he meets Jaya, he gets the feeling that she's hiding something, and it may have to do with the rose-shaped ruby pendant around her neck. So I love Sandhya Menon's books. I have read all of them so far. They're just so fun, and they're fast reads, and I read the first couple chapters of this book last month just to kind of get a feel for the writing. This one sounds just a bit darker than her normal writing style, and I'm eager to see how she makes a modern twist on the Beauty and the Beast retelling. So definitely excited about that. The next prompt is to read a book featuring a mother-daughter relationship in honor of Lorelai and Rory. So for this, I have chosen The Press Guide to the Occult by Leslie Walton. Can I just say I love this cover because there's no dust jacket. This is actually printed on the cover, and I thought that was such an awesome idea. This follows the story of Noor Blackman, and all she wants to do is just have a normal teenage life on the little touristy island that she lives on. However, when a mysterious book comes out, the island's floral and fauna begin to act strangely, and everyone starts to develop these ominous fern tattoos, and mayhem and murder may follow. So Noor has to kind of figure out what's going on and possibly solve the problem. So I am actually buddy reading this. This will be my first buddy read, so I'm super excited. But I'm going to buddy read this with Cheyenne over at the Book Mermaid. I just found her channel within the last couple days, and I really enjoy it. She's super upbeat and fun, so I'm going to link her down below, and I'm really excited to read this with someone else so that we can discuss it. Next is any cozy book set during fall and winter in honor of Beautiful Stars Hollow and Lorelai Smelling Snow. And the book I chose, while it may not be cozy per se, I do think it is set in the fall and winter, and I don't have my hands on a copy yet because it comes out October 8th, and that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I plan on going into this a little blind because I don't want to go in with expectations because I think I already have high expectations because it is Leigh Bardugo. But this is her first adult novel, I believe, and it features secret societies and things like that at Yale, and as soon as I read that, I knew that I wanted to read it. So we'll see how it goes. Next is read a book with complicated love interests in honor of Rory, Dean, and Jess. And by the way, I am Team Jess. With that, I'm also doing a buddy read, and that is Serpent and Death by Shelby Mahurin. This is the Just Jacket because I have started this book, but I'm going to read the majority of it during this readathon. And this follows Witch Lou and Witch Hunter Reed, and in the time period that they're in, witches are hunted to be burned at the stake. And so Lou and Reed end up in the same world, and they actually, due to this chaotic incident, they end up having to get married, and chaos ensues from there. So from what I've read, this is actually a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more serious, but the main character, Lou, is so funny and so irreverent. And like, for example, there's one scene where she's a very disobedient wife and her guard is like a 16-year-old initiate, and in order to make him do what she wants, she starts singing horribly dirty bar songs, and it makes him so uncomfortable that he ends up doing it. And I just think she's a funny character, and you know, that's my goal when I become old, is to just not care what people think. So I'm really excited to read this. I'm going to read this with Serenity Dawn at This Story Here, and Sunny Pipes at Sin Roarin. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that, but I'll link their Twitter pages down below. Next is to read a book by an Asian author or has Asian representation in honor of our favorite best friend, Lane. And for that, I'm going to read Girls of Siege and... I almost said Siege and Storm. I talked about Leigh Bardugo earlier. I'm going to read Storm and Shadow by Natasha Nyan, and this is the sequel to Girls of Paper and Fire, and I was actually lucky enough to get an ARC from James Patterson Presents. This is the first physical ARC I've ever gotten, so it was a good day. But it comes out on November 5th, so I really want to read it before so I can do a review. I won't go into this synopsis, but the first book, Girls of Paper and Fire, is set in an Asian world where there is a king, and every year 8 girls are selected to be his paper girls, or basically like concubines. And this particular year is different because Lee is actually selected as the 9th paper girl, which never happens. And Lei is really mysterious. She's got golden eyes, and the king takes a liking to her. So she is kidnapped and becomes the 9th paper girl, and basically it follows her journey through preparing for her first night as a paper girl, basically her first night with the king, and along the way she befriends this girl Ren, and their friendship develops. And I know it's not a good synopsis, but I went into this not really knowing a ton, and I just thought it was so good. I will say, be warned, there is a scene of animal abuse at the beginning of the book, so that was a little hard. It doesn't last very long, but it is hard to read. There's also a lot of violence, sexual assault. There is trigger warnings for rape. Just be forewarned. So if those things are triggering to you, you might want to stay away from this book. But it ended on a really exciting note, And so I'm really excited to dive into this and find out what happens next. I am going to read The Wicked King by Holly Black. I won't go into this because it would spoil the first book, but the first book, The Cruel Prince, follows the story of Jude Duarte, and she is actually a mortal, but her older sister is half mortal and half fae. So one day, her older sister's father comes and murders Jude's parents in front of them, and he sweeps them away to the world of fae. And it follows the story of Jude as she tries to fit in, and the fairies are horribly cruel to her, and so she is trying to find a way to find her place, and she gets caught up in this political scandal, and it just, I've read it before, and I'm actually rereading this for the Folk of the Air read-along, and it's just, so much happens, and it ended on such a huge cliffhanger. So I'm really excited to finally get to The Wicked King, because I've heard this is actually better than The Cruel Prince. The last prompt is a book with food on the cover, or is a crucial part to the storyline in honor of Luke's Cafe. For that, I'm going to listen to the audiobook With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. So this follows the story of high school senior Emily and her daughter, and Emily is trying to navigate her school's new culinary arts program and find a balance between that and her home life and what everyone expects her to be. She is having a really hard time in life, and it sounds like she gets a really good opportunity in relation to being a chef or cooking, and it goes from there. Honestly, I've heard a lot of people say this book is really, really good. I know Chelsea Darling Reeds loved it, and a couple other people, and I have not read anything by Elizabeth Acevedo that I have given less than 5 stars. She is such a good author and such a good writer, and she actually narrates this audiobook, and she narrated The Poet X, which is her other book, and her voice is just like honey, and she's got a little bit of an, excuse you, but yeah, her narrating style is so good, and her voice is so gorgeous, so I think this is going to be a really good book. The group book is Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham, and I got the audiobook of this from my library, and so it's basically following Lauren Graham as she's telling about her life, and it's the tagline is From Gilmore Girls to Gilmore Girls, so I think it follows from when she started Gilmore Girls all the way to Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life, and I've heard it's really good, and it's really funny, and I really like Lauren Graham, so I think it's going to be really good. So, are you guys participating in this readathon? If so, what are you going to read? Are you rewatching the Gilmore Girls show like I am? Let me know down below. I would love to talk to you guys in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button, and make sure you click the bell icon so that you can be notified anytime I upload a new video. Bye.